Agronomy, the science of crop production and soil management. Sounds simple, right? But what if I tell you this one science decides whether a farmer earns profit or faces loss? From the soil beneath our feet to the food on our plate, everything is connected through agronomy. And in this video, you're going to understand it not just as a subject, but as a powerful tool to transform agriculture. Let me ask you a simple question. What really decides whether a farmer gets profit or loss? Is it just seeds, fertilizer, rain? Not exactly. The real answer is agronomy. Agronomy is both a science and an art of crop production. Now, you might wonder, science I understand, but art? Yes, because growing crops is not just about formulas. It's about timing, observation, and decision-making in real field conditions. Definition. Agronomy can be defined as the branch of agricultural science that deals with principles and practices of crop production and soil management for sustainable and efficient farming. In simple words, agronomy teaches us how to grow more using less without damaging our soil. Now, what does agronomy actually focus on? It mainly deals with soil health, crop growth, and sustainable farming practices. And the ultimate goal? To achieve maximum yield with minimum environmental impact. Because today, it's not just about production, it's about sustainable production. And trust me, if you understand agronomy well, you can literally change the productivity of any field. Before we go deeper into agronomy, let's understand where this word actually comes from. The term agronomy is derived from two Greek words, agros, meaning field, and nomos, meaning management. So when we combine them, agronomy simply means management of fields. But here's the interesting part. It's not just about managing land, it's about managing everything that happens in that field, from preparing the soil to selecting the right crop, managing nutrients, and even using water efficiently. All of this comes under agronomy. In simple words, agronomy is the science of making every field more productive, efficient, and sustainable. And that's what makes it so powerful in modern agriculture. Now that we understand the meaning of agronomy, the next question is, why is agronomy so important today, especially with a growing population? Let's explore that. So far, we've understood what agronomy is and why it is important. But now comes a key question. What exactly does agronomy cover? The scope of agronomy is very wide, and it includes almost every activity that happens in a field. Let's break it down step by step. First, crop production techniques. This includes selecting the right crop, proper sowing methods, spacing, and timing, because even small mistakes here can reduce yields significantly. Second, soil management and fertility improvement. Healthy soil is the foundation of agriculture. Agronomy helps us maintain soil nutrients and improve fertility over time. Third, pest, weed, and disease management. Because protecting crops is just as important as growing them. Uncontrolled pests and weeds can destroy entire fields. Fourth, agrotechnology and mechanization. Modern tools, machines, and techniques that make farming faster, efficient, and less labor-intensive. Fifth, sustainable and organic farming. Today, it's not just about yield, it's about protecting the environment and ensuring long-term productivity. And finally, research and development of high-yield varieties. Developing better crop varieties that give more production, resist diseases, and adapt to changing climate. So when you look at it closely, agronomy is not just one subject, it's a complete system that supports modern agriculture. But managing all these areas is not random. There are certain rules and guidelines behind it. So what are the core principles that guide agronomy? Let's understand that next. Now let's talk about the backbone of agronomy, its core principles. These are the basic rules that guide every successful farming practice. First, soil health principle. Healthy soil leads to healthy crops. If your soil is rich in nutrients and organic matter, your crops will naturally perform better. So soil is not just a medium, it's a living system. Second, crop rotation principle. Growing the same crop again and again can exhaust the soil. But when we rotate crops, like cereals with legumes, it helps maintain soil fertility and breaks pest cycles. Third, plant nutrition principle. Crops need balanced nutrition, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and even micronutrients. Too little or too much can both affect yield. Fourth, water management principle. Water is critical, but over-irrigation is just as harmful as under-irrigation. Efficient water use ensures better crop growth and saves resources. And finally, sustainable practices principle. Modern agronomy is not just about production, it's about protecting the environment. Reducing chemical use, conserving soil, and maintaining biodiversity are all part of sustainable farming. So, if you follow these principles correctly, you don't just grow crops, you build a system that works for the long term. But here's something interesting. Agronomy doesn't work alone. It is closely connected with many other sciences. So how does agronomy interact with other fields of knowledge? Let's explore that next. Now, here's something very important to understand. Agronomy does not work in isolation. It is closely connected with many other sciences. Let's see how. First, soil science. It helps us understand soil fertility, structure, and nutrient availability. Because without healthy soil, no crop can perform well. Second, botany. This is the science of plant growth and physiology. It helps us understand how plants grow, develop, and respond to different conditions. Third, entomology. This deals with insect pests. Agronomy uses this knowledge to manage pests effectively and protect crops. Fourth, plant pathology. This focuses on plant diseases. Understanding diseases helps in timely control and prevention of crop losses. Fifth, environmental science. Today, agriculture must be eco-friendly. This science helps agronomy adopt sustainable and environment-safe practices. And finally, economics. Because farming is not just about production, it's also about profit. Agronomy ensures that farming remains cost-effective and economically viable. So when you look at it closely, agronomy is like a central system, connecting multiple sciences to make farming more efficient and successful. So now we know the science behind agronomy, but how are these concepts actually applied in real fields? Let's look at the different methods used in agronomy. So far, we've understood the principles and scientific connections of agronomy, but the real question is, how are these applied in actual farming? That's where the methods of agronomy come in. First, field experimentation. Agronomists don't just assume things, they test them in real fields. Different levels of fertilizers, irrigation methods, and crop practices are compared to find out what works best. Second, soil testing. Before applying fertilizers, it's important to know what the soil actually needs. Soil testing helps determine nutrient levels and avoid unnecessary costs. Third, plant breeding. This method focuses on developing high-yielding and disease-resistant varieties. Better seeds mean better production and more stable farming. And finally, technology in agronomy. Today, agriculture is becoming smarter. Drones, sensors, and satellite imagery are helping farmers monitor crops, detect problems early, and make precise decisions. So agronomy is not just theory, it's a combination of science, testing, and modern technology working together in the field. But among all these methods, one area is growing very fast. Modern technology is completely transforming the way we practice agronomy today. Let's explore that in detail. Now, this is where agronomy becomes truly exciting: the integration of modern technology. Today, farming is no longer based only on experience. It is becoming data-driven and highly precise. First, precision agriculture. Using GPS and sensors, farmers can monitor every part of their field. This means applying the right input at the right place at the right time. Second, automated irrigation and fertilization. Systems are now available that automatically supply water and nutrients based on crop needs, saving both time and resources. Third, data-driven crop management. Farmers can now use real-time data to make better decisions, like when to irrigate, when to apply fertilizer, or when to harvest. And finally, AI and drone monitoring. Drones can scan entire fields within minutes, detect crop stress, pest attacks, or nutrient deficiencies. AI then helps analyze this data for quick action. So today, agronomy is not just happening in the field, it's happening through technology, data, and smart decisions. And this is the future of agriculture. But with all this advancement, there's one critical question. Are we growing more at the cost of our environment? Let's understand the role of agronomy in sustainability. Now let's talk about one of the most important aspects of modern agriculture: sustainability. Because today, the goal is not just to grow more, but to grow in a way that protects our future. First, minimizing chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Excessive use of chemicals can harm soil health, water quality, and even human health. So agronomy focuses on using them in a balanced and controlled way. Second, crop rotation and intercropping. Instead of growing a single crop again and again, diversifying crops helps maintain soil fertility and reduce pest problems naturally. Third, water conservation. Water is becoming a scarce resource. Techniques like drip irrigation and rainwater harvesting help use water efficiently and reduce wastage. And finally, organic and eco-friendly farming. Using natural inputs and sustainable practices helps maintain long-term soil health and environmental balance. So, sustainable agronomy is all about one simple idea: meeting today's needs without compromising the future. And this is what will define the future of agriculture. Now let's bring this discussion closer to home. How is agronomy actually practiced in India? Let's explore that next. Now let's understand the role of agronomy in India, a country where agriculture is not just an occupation, but a lifeline for millions. One of the biggest contributions of agronomy in India was during the Green Revolution. With the introduction of high-yielding varieties, better irrigation, and improved farming practices, India transformed from a food-deficient nation to a food-surplus country. Today, agronomy plays a key role in ensuring food security for over 1 billion people. It has supported the development of improved varieties of wheat, rice, and maize, which are the backbone of Indian agriculture. And now, the focus is shifting towards modern and sustainable farming practices. These practices are not only improving productivity, but also helping India compete in global agricultural markets through exports. So in India, agronomy is not just a science, it is a driving force behind food security, farmer income, and national growth. But agriculture is not limited to one country. How does agronomy differ across the world? Let's take a global perspective. Now, let's step beyond India and look at agronomy from a global perspective. Around the world, agronomy has played a major role in improving food production. With better techniques, improved seeds, and scientific management, many countries have significantly increased their agricultural output. In regions like Europe, North America, and parts of Asia, there is a strong focus on sustainable farming practices. Farmers are adopting methods that protect soil health, conserve water, and reduce environmental impact. At the same time, one major trend across the world is the use of modern technology in agriculture. From precision farming to AI-based decision-making to drone monitoring, these innovations are transforming agriculture globally. So whether it's India or any other country, the goal of agronomy remains the same: to produce more food efficiently and sustainably for a growing population. But even with all these advancements, agriculture still faces some serious challenges. Let's understand the major problems in agronomy today. So far, everything sounds promising, but here's the reality. Today, agronomy is facing some serious challenges. First, soil degradation and nutrient depletion. Continuous farming, excessive chemical use, and poor practices are reducing soil fertility over time. And once soil health is lost, productivity also declines. Second, water scarcity and irregular rainfall. Water is becoming limited, and climate change is making rainfall unpredictable. This directly affects crop growth and yields. Third, pest and disease outbreaks. New pests and diseases are emerging, and sometimes they spread faster than control measures. This can lead to heavy crop losses. And finally, the biggest challenge: balancing productivity and sustainability. We need to produce more food for a growing population, but at the same time, we must protect our environment. So the real question is, how do we grow more without damaging our future? And that is exactly what modern agronomy is trying to solve. So, now we've understood everything from basics to challenges. Let's quickly revise the key points of this entire lecture. So, before we end, let's quickly revise the key takeaways from this lecture. First, agronomy is both a science and an art of crop production. It's not just theory, it's practical decision-making in real field conditions. Second, the scope of agronomy is very wide. It covers soil, crops, pest management, modern technology, and sustainable farming practices. Third, we discussed the core principles of agronomy, like maintaining soil health, practicing crop rotation, providing balanced nutrition, efficient water use, and focusing on sustainability. Fourth, agronomy is interdisciplinary. It is closely connected with sciences like botany, soil science, entomology, plant pathology, and even economics. And finally, the importance of agronomy. It plays a key role in ensuring food security, improving farmer income, protecting the environment, and advancing agriculture through technology. So, if you understand agronomy well, you don't just study agriculture, you understand the system that feeds the world. So if you found this lecture helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends or anyone connected to agriculture. Because the more we understand agronomy, the better future we can build for farming. And this is just the beginning. In the coming videos, we'll explore more practical topics, real field problems, and modern farming techniques. So stay connected and keep learning.